So good morning to all of you. Still very less participants are there in the class. Okay, so I'll start sharing my slides. So in the last class, we have discussed regarding Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law, and we have seen my voice is audible to you, right?
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay, and you are able to see my screen, right? Shared screen PPT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed regarding Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, so KCL is basically the sum of incoming currents at one particular node is equals to the sum of outgoing currents. Okay, or the net currents which are flowing into the node is equals to 0. You have to consider the algebraic sign also. Okay, right. In the same way, the net current leaving one particular node, the total currents which are leaving one particular node is also equals to 0. Okay, we can say KCL is it can be stated in all three forms. Okay, so when you talk about KVL, the first observation, if you remember, the first thing is you have to determine the current direction in each branch. Okay, so you have to choose one current direction starting from some source, and you have to apply. You have to denote different currents for different branches following KCL rule. That means if some node is encountered, you should follow the KCL rule. You should not violate the KCL rule, and then you have to denote the currents. Let's say I is equals to I1 plus I2 at one particular node. This is the first job you have to do. After that, once the current direction is known to you, let's say if you see in this example, you are able to see my cursor, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say in this example, current I have denoted in this fashion. So I have marked this one as plus and this one as minus. So for all resistors, you will assume that the current flowing into the terminal will be positive and another one is negative. Okay, this is the standard convention we are following. Okay, right. Here also some resistor is there. I have denoted with plus and minus, and I have given some variable names called as V15. Okay, of course, in the question, some other variable is given or called as VA. Okay, you can solve using this and then you can relate these two. Okay, so to avoid confusion, we have to do this thing. First to denote the current direction and then give the polarity for all the passive elements. Here the passive element is resistor. Okay, so this is the job you have to do when you want to do apply KVL to a circuit. Okay, denote the current, accordingly denote the polarity for all the resistors present within your circuit and then apply the KVL loop. So this is what we have discussed. Okay, so from today we will discuss regarding a little bit go into that. Okay, so series and parallel connected independent sources. So we have seen there are two kinds of sources, independent sources. One is voltage source and the other one is current source. Okay, so if you have series voltages, that means independent voltage sources connected in series format, whether you can join it or you can add it, okay, or not, that we will see. So what it states is voltage sources in series may be replaced by an equivalent voltage source, okay, having a voltage equal to the algebraic sum of individual sources. So what it means, if you have n number of voltage sources connected in series form, okay, connected in series form, then you can replace with an equivalent voltage source considering the algebraic sign of all the individual sources. That means you can add, but you have to take the algebraic sign into consideration when you are combining the voltage sources. So see in example A, if you see, there are 3 voltage sources which are connected in series. Okay, you should check the polarity of individual voltage source. Okay, so if you see V1 and V2, they are having positive terminal on the top and negative terminal on the bottom. But if you see V3, it is in the opposite direction. So what will be the net voltage for this? You should take the algebraic sign into consideration. That means these two are going to add up. Let's say this is 5 volts, this is 10 volts. These two are going to add up. So it will become 15. But this fellow is in opposite direction. Okay. So net voltage will be V1 plus V2 minus V3 in this direction. That means I am considering this as my reference base V1. Okay. Since it is positive, this is negative. Okay. So with respect to V1, if some other source is also in the same fashion, then you simply add that voltage to this one. That means V1 is my reference and V2 is seen to be in the same polarity as that of V1. So I will simply add V1 and V2. Okay. But if you see here, the polarity of V3 seems to be opposite to that of my reference V1. So you have to subtract that voltage from the net. Okay, so that means V1 plus V2 minus V3 will be the equivalent of this 3 voltages in series. Okay, these are independent ideal voltage sources, and this is the equivalent of all the 3 voltage sources. Okay, clear. So next, coming to parallel current sources. That means if there is a scenario in your circuit where some 2 or 3 currents are connected in parallel. So when I say parallel, the one thing what you have to understand is they are connected across the same pair of nodes. That means if you consider the top node, I2 is connected to this point and I1 is also connected to the same node, and the other terminal of those sources are connected. Any doubt? Okay, other sources are actually connected to other terminals of these two sources are connected to the same node. Okay, then only we will call it as a parallel. Then only we can call these 3 are in parallel. Okay, so what parallel says is they any elements, if you want to say they are in parallel, the terminals of those two elements should be connected to the same node. So this is upper terminal for this one, this is upper terminal for this source. Those two are connected to this node, and the bottom terminals of these two sources are actually connected to the same node. Then only we can call these are in parallel. So if you see in figure 3, all the 3 current sources are in parallel. Okay, right. Since they are connected to the same pair of nodes. Okay, so parallel current sources may also be combined by algebraically adding the individual currents, and the order of the parallel elements may be rearranged as desired. So what it says is the parallel current sources may be combined by algebraically adding the individual currents. So let's say I will take I1 source as my reference. That means in the equivalent I am going to have the same current direction, that means upwards. I am having an equivalent current source which is in the same fashion as that of I1. So I1 is my reference. Current flowing to the top is my reference. That means I am considering current flowing in the upward direction as positive value. Okay, so that's why I1 is positive. If you see I2, it is flowing in the downward direction. So it is opposite to my reference chosen. Okay, I1 I have chosen upward as positive, but I2 is seen to be opposite. That means it is flowing in the downward direction. So that's why you will have minus sign here, minus I2. My reference is towards upwards and I2 is seen to be opposite to my reference. So that's why I kept minus sign here. And if you see I3 source, it is in the same direction as that of I1. Okay, so it is in align with my reference what I have considered. So I3 having current upward direction, so that's why I3 will have plus sign. Okay, so first thing what you have to do, you have to choose any one reference. Okay, you can choose this one, I1 as reference, or I2 as reference, or I3 as reference. That is your choice. If I choose I1 current is flowing in the upward direction. So all currents which are flowing in the upward direction will be considered as positive sign, and something which is flowing in the opposite direction, then we will consider as negative sign. So this is applicable only for parallel connected sources. Okay, right. So voltage is applicable for series connected voltage sources, and I mean, algebraic addition of current sources is possible only if they are connected in parallel. That means same pair of nodes, they should be connected. Okay, so the net current or the equivalent of all these three current sources can be this one. Okay, complete equivalent will be I1 minus I2 plus I3. Clear. So if you encounter this kind of situation in your circuit, you can simplify this by using these two rules. Okay. So coming to resistors. So we have seen what happens if voltage sources are in series, independent voltage sources are in series, and independent current sources are in parallel. How to, I mean, reduce our complexity or how to make it a single element we have seen. Now we'll see what happens if resistors are in series. Okay. It is often possible to replace relatively complicated resistor combinations with a single equivalent resistor. So what it means is, if you have n number of resistors connected in series, it is possible for us to replace with one equivalent resistor. Okay. So consider the series combination of n resistors shown in figure A. So if you see here in figure A, there is some voltage source and resistors are connected in series R1, R2, R3, so on up to Rn. Okay, right. So it is possible for us to replace all these resistors which are in series by an equivalent resistance, R equivalent. We are denoting it as R equivalent. Okay. In that scenario, if you are replacing that, the current, voltage, and power of the source must be same before and after the replacement. That means the current which is delivered from the source should be same in this circuit as well as in this circuit. Even after replacing the n resistors with an R equivalent, the power delivered by this source remains the same. Okay. So in such a way, you have to modify your network. So how to do that? Consider, let's say, this circuit A. So I want to apply KVL. So what I have to do? First, I have to denote some current direction. So I have denoted this current direction. And when the current is entering to one terminal, that terminal I will denote as positive, and the current leaving terminal I will denote as negative, as shown here. And I will give a polarity name, variable name, which is called as V1. So V1 is the voltage across resistor R1. Similarly, V2, V3, so on up to Vn. So now you know the voltages across all the elements and you know the voltage across the source. So you can apply KVL for this circuit. So if you apply KVL, what happens? Minus Vs plus V1 plus V2 plus V3, so on up to Vn is equals to 0. Or Vs is equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3, so on up to Vn. Correct. So V1 I can replace with I into R1, I into R2, so on up to I into Rn. So if I take I common, so R1 plus R2 plus R3, so on up to Rn. So this series, that means R1 plus R2 plus R3, so on up to Rn, I am replacing with R equivalent. Okay. So from these two equations, what you can conclude? R equivalent is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3, so on up to Rn. Correct. This is the equivalent resistance for this series connected circuit. Okay. So if there is a series scenario, series means current flowing in the different elements should be same, then only we'll call it as series connected elements. So in this scenario, I is flowing, the current flowing through all the resistors is same, so that's why we'll call these resistors R1 to Rn are in series. So when it is in series, then you can simply add up all the resistors. That will be your equivalent circuit. So R equivalent is equals to R1 plus R2 plus so on up to Rn. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are able to understand, right?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Okay, okay. So therefore what it says, we can replace a two-terminal network consisting of n series resistors with a single two-terminal element which is called as R equivalent that has the same VI relationship. So if you take the two circuits and if you do the experiment, that means you find out the voltage coming out of the source and current coming out of the source and voltage across the source, you will get the same characteristics. VI graph will be same. Okay. So let's see one example based on this. Okay. So if you see here, find the current I in the circuit and the power delivered by 80 volts source. They are asking for the circuit. Clear. So you have a voltage source of 80 volts and you have a voltage source of 20 volts. Both are seems to be in opposite direction. And you have a battery of 30 volts, which is in the same direction as that of 80 volt source. And you have 4 resistors. Okay. So try to solve this. Simple current direction. So you try to reduce your complexity by, if the resistors are connected in series, you trying to find out the R equivalent. If the voltages are in series, try to find the equivalent voltage and then try to solve. Okay, so please try to do that.
The 3 ampere.
3 amperes current. So what is the R equivalent you have observed?
30 ohm.
30
How much?
30 ohm.
30 ohm.
30 ohm. Okay. Okay. So voltage equivalent did you find or not?
Sir, 90 volt.
90 volt.
90 volt.
Okay. Okay.
90 volt.
Okay. Okay. So let's see that. So if you see, I am trying to, bring all the voltage sources to one point, let's say to the extreme left. I am not changing any polarity. Okay. So it is minus 30 and plus 20, same thing. Plus is on the top. So same thing, plus is coming first for the current. So I try to segregate to left hand side all the voltage sources and all the resistors I placed at one point. This is possible. You can do it when you have only voltage sources and resistors present in your circuit. If there is some current source, something in between, or in some parallel path, then you have to, you have to check how to do that. Okay. So this is a simple circuit where you can bring all the voltage sources onto one side. So what will be the net voltage? If you see here, if I consider this as my reference, 80 volts and 30 volts are in the same direction or same polarity. Okay. So these two can be added and 20 volts seems to be opposite to the polarity of 80 volts. So that's why 80 plus 30 minus 20, which is equivalent to 90 volts maybe. Okay, so that is the equivalent 90 volts you will get voltage source. And next, if you see all these resistors are connected in parallel, if you add up all these things, it will be equal to 30 ohms. Right, so this equivalent circuit of this one will be equivalent to this. Okay. So now they are asking, find out the current and next power delivered by 80 volt source, not 90 volt source, power delivered by 80 volt source they are asking. So how to do that? What will be the current now? V divided by R, 90 divided by 30, that is equals to 3 amperes. Right, so 3 amperes. Now they are asking us to find out power delivered by 80 volt source. So that means power delivered means current flowing from that terminal. Okay, if you consider this as 80 volts, current coming out of that particular terminal into the corresponding voltage you have to do. Okay, power delivered means current flowing out of the positive terminal. Okay, power absorbed means current flowing into the positive terminal. Okay, so current flowing out of the positive terminal you have observed to be 3 amperes and 80 volts is your voltage value. So 80 into 3 will be 240 watts. This is delivered power. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then fine. So next we will see resistors in parallel. Okay. So what does this mean? If there are n number of resistors connected in parallel, how to transform into an equivalent form? So that we are going to see. Okay. A circuit containing n resistors in parallel as shown in figure A can be converted into equivalent circuit shown in figure B. Okay, so if I say in terms of parallel, the first thing what you have to see is whether they are connected across the same pair of nodes. That you have to check. Then only we can determine they are in parallel. Okay, if you observe in this figure A, this is considered as the entire node. This entire thing is a single node. Okay, that means the potential at the entire length of this line or this wire is going to remain same. Okay, so the potential of this point is completely same, entire length. The potential of this fellow is also completely same. Okay, so that means you can consider this entire top line as one node and this entire bottom line as another node. And if you observe, all the elements are connected between those two pair of nodes. So that's why all these elements are connected in parallel. Okay, right. When they're connected in parallel, obviously current flowing in the different parallel paths will be different. It will be determined by the resistance value. Okay, so they have also already given here some voltage they have taken. Considering the bottom line as your reference, bottom node as your reference, they have given some voltage value V with polarity. Okay, so what will happen if you apply KCL? The sum of incoming currents is equals to sum of outgoing currents. So IS is equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3 so on up to IN. Okay, so what will be equal to I1? Voltage divided by resistor, because V is same for all the elements. It's a parallel network. Okay, so V divided by R1 plus V divided by R2 so on up to V divided by Rn. Okay, so now I am converting this expression into this format. IS is equals to V divided by R equivalent. So that means what is R equivalent? If I take V common in this equation, 1 by R equivalent is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus so on up to 1 by Rn. Right. So that means in a series circuit, it's straight away R equivalent is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Here, the inverse of that individual resistors will be equals to the sum of inverse of those individual resistors will be equals to the inverse of the equivalent resistance. So 1 by R equivalent is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus so on up to 1 by Rn. Okay, this is how you have to find out the equivalent resistance when they are connected in parallel. Let's consider there are only two resistors. Okay, in the same example, we are considering there are only two resistors instead of having n resistors. So what will happen? 1 by R equivalent is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Okay, or R equivalent is equals to R1 in parallel with R2. So how it will be? Right. So 1 by R equivalent is equals to this one. R equivalent will be 1 by 1 whole divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. That is nothing but this one. R equivalent is equals to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. If you solve this, you will get this format. I hope you know these things, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know this simple two resistors in parallel equivalent formula, you know, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So R equivalent is equals to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. How it is coming means one same from this equation only. 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R plus R2. If you solve it, then you will get R equivalent is equals to R1 plus R2. If there are two resistors, you can follow straight away this formula. If there are more resistors, then better to use the previous one. Okay. So here we will go through one example. What it is saying is calculate the power and voltage of the dependent source in the circuit below. Okay. So if you see here, there are two current sources, two independent current sources. One is 6 amperes flowing in the upward direction and another one is 4 amperes flowing in the downward direction, and they are connected in parallel. So what it means, you can add up these two considering the direction into account. Okay, to minimize your circuit. And you have one dependent current source. More specifically, if you speak, it is current dependent current source. So what they are asking? calculate the power and voltage of the dependent source. Okay, so what is the power it was delivered? Okay, and the voltage of the dependent source, that means voltage across these two terminals, that means nothing but Vx, since Vx is the voltage across the entire all the elements. Okay, so you have to find out Vx and then find out power delivered by this fellow, independent current source. You try to solve this, okay, then we will see. You just see these two are in parallel, these two are in parallel, 6 ohms and 6 ohms, and then you have series combination. So try to reduce this circuit and try to solve using resistance parallel series combination. Okay, please try to do that. First find out Vx, then we will see what is the power related thing.
Sir, Vx is 12.
12 volts. Okay, so how you have approached that?
So first the current was resolved into 2 amps for the independent current sources. And
Okay,
the parallel resistors were solved to 6 ohms. And the voltage across the equivalent resistors would be the Vx. So 6 into 2.
Vx. Okay, okay. Okay, let's see. Because in this kind of scenario, you should be very, careful when you are combining the resistors. Okay, so if I ask I3, then after combining, you will not have what is I3. So you should come back to find out what is I3. Or in simple way, if you find Vx, then you will not have any confusion. If you find Vx, simply Vx divided by Vx is the voltage across this fellow, right? If you find Vx, simply Vx divided by 3 amperes will give you I3. Okay, so it's the same way, once you know I3, then you can calculate the current delivered by this independent current source. Okay, so current delivered by this independent current source into Vx will give you the power delivered by this independent current source. So let's see. So the first thing what you have to do is, maybe you can consider this 4 amperes current source coming in the downward direction and the 6 amperes current source coming in the upward direction. You can add up considering the sign into account. So it should be something like 2 amperes in the upward direction, right? Because this current is coming down and this is flowing up. I have taken 6 amperes as my reference. So net current will be 2 amperes in the upward direction. So that is one form of reducing the complexity in our circuit. Next, what you can do? You have 6 and 6 ohms in parallel and 15 ohms in series. So what will be the equivalent of 6 and 6 in parallel?
3.
3.
3
Okay.
ohm.
So 6 into 6 divided by 6 plus 6. So it is 18 divided by 9. 18 divided by. No. 6 6 is 36 divided by 12. Okay. Right. So that one will be again in series with your 15 ohms. Okay.
18.
Okay. But if you see here also you can reduce by considering the parallel combination of 3 ohms and 9 ohms. But you should be very careful when you are finding I3, because I3 is the current flowing only to 3 ohms. After combining the combination, okay, if you find the current, that will not be same as I3. Okay, so that you should be cautious about. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, so same circuit I have shown here. So how I have approached is, first thing, the current sources. So 2 amperes is the coming, which was carrying in the upward direction, and Vx remains same. Nothing is not going to change. And what about this thing? This is going to become 18 ohms. 6 in parallel with 6 with series of 15. So it will become 3 plus 15. It is 18 ohms. I have left this 9 ohms as it is, and I have left this 3 ohms as it is. Why means I3 is the current which is flowing through 3 ohms. So I don't want to disturb this. Okay, because that is required for me to calculate the current coming out of this independent current source. So next, what I have done, these 9 ohms and 18 ohms are also in parallel, right? Because the voltage across these two terminals remains same. So if I reduce the combination, it is going to be 6 ohms. Okay. So now, if you see here, right, the circuit has transformed into this format. So there are one independent current source, one dependent current source, and two resistors in parallel. So you have to find out Vx and I3. That will solve your problem. Okay, so how to find out Vx? After this, I am not going to reduce my circuit. So how to find out Vx? So I am applying KCL. Okay, so as I have already told you, KCL means sum of incoming currents is equals to sum of outgoing currents, or the net currents flowing in the algebraic sum of currents flowing into a node is equals to 0, or the algebraic sum of currents flowing out of a one particular node is equals to 0. Okay, all these three statements are valid, so any one you can follow. Okay, from my side, to avoid confusion, I will always follow the third statement. Okay, what it states is the sum of currents, the algebraic sum of currents leaving any particular node is equals to 0. Okay, so this is the standard I'm going to follow for this entire course. Okay, KCL I'm going to follow, right? If you consider one particular node, the algebraic sum of currents leaving that particular node is equals to 0. Okay, right. So I will consider the top entire node as one node and the bottom one as my reference node, let's say. Okay, so with respect to your reference node at the bottom line, your top node voltage is Vx. Okay, that is the potential difference between the two nodes. Now it was given in the question. So Vx is the voltage of the top node, this entire thing, with respect to your ground node. Ground node means reference node. Okay, right, this is Vx. Okay, so now I am applying KCL in such a way that all the currents leaving from the top node is equals to 0. Okay, so if you see the current source, 2 amperes is coming inward direction, that means into the node. Okay, but my KCL rule is coming out of the node is equals to 0. All currents coming out of the node is equals to 0. So what is the current coming out of the node in this branch? It will be minus 2. Minus 2. Since 2 is flowing, it was already we have observed upward. So minus 2 will be the current leaving the node. Here what will happen? Vx is the polarity of the top node. Vx divided by this 3 ohms will straight away give me the current flowing through this particular branch, 3 ohms resistor, that is given here. If you observe here, Vx divided by 3 is nothing but the current leaving this particular node in the downward direction. If you observe here, the current leaving this particular node in the downward direction will be Vx divided by 6, that is given here. Right. So total there are 4 branches, 4 terms should be there in your equation. So all these 3 you have written, minus 2 plus Vx divided by 6 plus Vx divided by 3. So what is left here? This is a current source, straight away they have given, but the current is flowing in the upward direction. I want to know what is the current flowing out of the node from the top node. So I will simply place minus 0.9 into I3. Okay, minus 0.9 into I3. What is I3 equivalent to? I3 is equals to Vx divided by 3. Okay, I am substituting the same here. Is it clear?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear or not,
No.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anyone with no?
Yes, sir.
You have any doubt in
Sir,
this? Yeah.
Sir, once
Yes, sir.
explain that node part, sir.
Node part. So why I'm following this standard means when you go to nodal analysis in the next slides, then this is a convenient way to follow. So what it says is, when you apply this KCL rule, consider one as your reference node. So let's say this bottom line entire thing as your reference node. Okay, and you have only one node on the top. That means there are 2 nodes in your circuit. One is considered as reference, and the other one is the node, let's say V1, which here it is called as Vx, because they have given in the question itself Vx is the polarity difference between the top node and the bottom node. Okay, so Vx is the voltage existing at this entire top line. Okay, so now I will ask you what is the current flowing in the 6 amps. Okay, so how you will find out? Current coming out of that particular node is simply V divided by R. Okay, so current flowing through this 6 ohms resistor will be V, which is V is here Vx. Vx divided by 6. That is the current coming out of this particular top node. Okay. So Vx divided by 6. Hello?
Sir, in 6 ohm resistance, current flowing downward.
Current flowing downward is Vx divided by 6. Because this polarity says this is plus. Plus indicates this is at a higher potential and this is minus. That means this
Yes, sir.
indicates at a lower potential. So current always flows from higher potential to lower potential. Okay. Right. Through a wire or through an element, current always flow through higher potential to lower potential. In a source, it may be different. Okay. Since it's a passive element, current will flow from positive higher potential to lower potential. So higher potential is this one because it is plus sign and this is minus sign. So what is the current flowing in this 6 ohms resistor branch? Vx divided by 6 ohms. Okay. What will be the current flowing in this 3 ohms resistor? Vx divided by 3 ohms. So these two terms I have already written. Now I want to know what is the current flowing in this current source branch. But I want to know what is the current flowing in this direction. That means from top to bottom. Because I want to apply KCL in such a way that all the currents leaving that particular node is equals to 0. Okay. I want to know what is the current leaving that particular node through this branch. What will be that? 2 amperes is already given. So obviously current I want which is leaving that particular node will be opposite to this 2 amperes current source. So that will be minus 2. Okay. That's why I have written minus 2. If you observe this dependent current source, 0.9 I3 is the current flowing in the upward direction. I want to know what is the current coming out of this particular node and flowing into the reference node. So it should be something like minus. So minus 0.9 into I3. Okay. So what is I3? You have already seen here Vx divided by 3. So that is given. So substitute this I3 in this expression. So you will get minus 0.9 into Vx divided by 3. Right. So all currents leaving from the top node, I am writing in one equation. Okay. When all currents are leaving, that means you have to take the algebraic sign into account. Right. So in that direction, you have to use plus or minus sign for the different branches. Okay. Is it clear?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
sir,
sir.
why do you not combine the 3 ohm and 6 ohm, sir?
Why I have not combined is I can combine and solve, but finally if I ask you a question what is I3, again you have to break it. You understood?
Yes,
If
sir.
you combine 6 and 3, it will be 6 3 is 18 divided by this thing. Okay. 18 divided by 9, you will get 2 ohms.
2 ohm.
Then you can find out Vx, not an issue. Vx you will find. Okay. But if you want I3, again you have to break it. That means you have to again come back to this circuit only. Even if you reduce the circuit to a more simpler form using 2 ohms, again you should come back to this fashion. Okay, then only you will know what is the current flowing into this 3 ohms. Okay. So that's the reason I have not simplified to that much extent. I have stopped at this point. Okay. Because they have asked power delivered by this fellow and power delivered by this fellow depending on I3. So I3 I should know exactly to find the power delivered by dependent current source. Okay. So that's the reason I have not simplified to that much extent. I have stopped at this level. If you want, you can simplify, then find Vx, then again come back to this circuit and then find I3. No issue. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope you are clear with this nodal, I mean this KCL, because this is very important. When you go to nodal analysis also, you will have more complex circuits and you have to apply same format like this. Okay. All currents leaving the top node towards the ground. That's all. That sum is equals to 0. That you have to apply. Okay. So if you solve this expression, Vx is the only unknown in this. So I think you can solve this. So if you found that Vx is observed to be 10 volts. Okay. So if you solve, then you will understand. So Vx is observed to be 10 volts. So what about I3? I3 is Vx divided by 3. So it will be something like 3.33 or something like that. Okay. So I3 is 10 divided by 3 amperes. Okay. Now in the question they have asked to find out Vx. So Vx is 10 volts you got. Next they have asked what is the power del by the independent current source. Okay, so first thing, I'm calculating the del power. So del means current leaving that particular terminal. Okay, so this is your Vx, right? So the same plus sign will come here. That means Vx is existing across this dependent current source also, and plus will be on the top and minus will be on the bottom. So current leaving from the positive terminal should be multiplied with corresponding voltage. So Vx is the voltage existing across these two terminals. So you have to multiply Vx with the current leaving from the top terminal. What is the current leaving from the top terminal for this independent current source? Can anyone say what is the current leaving?
DM.
That is 0.9 into I3. That is the current leaving from the top terminal, plus terminal. 0.9 into I3. So 0.9 into I3 you already know, which is 10 divided by 3. So if you calculate that, so maybe you will get 3 amperes is the current leaving from the positive terminal of this dependent current source. Simply multiply that current with the voltage Vx. So Vx is 10 volts, right? So 10 into 3, that will be 30 watts. This is the delivered power. Clear? So power delivered is always current leaving the positive terminal. Power absorbed by any element is always current entering the positive terminal. So if I ask what is the power absorbed by this dependent current source, what is the value?
minus
Minus 30.
30.
Simply it will be minus 30. So Vx remains 10, but the current entering the positive terminal will be have a negative sign. So that is minus 0.9 into 3, something 0.9 into 10 divided by 3. So you'll get minus 3. So 10 into minus 3, minus 30 you will get. Okay. So I hope you understand this concept. Okay. Okay then. So next we will see. So till now what we have seen, voltages, independent voltage source in series, independent current sources in parallel, and resistors are in series. What is the equivalent? One resistors are in parallel. What is the equivalent? And some two or three basic problems on those we have seen. Next we will see what is voltage division and current division. Okay. So I think you may be having idea regarding this also, but we will go through it once. Voltage and current division ideas are one method of useful short circuit for circuit analysis. That means if you have a complex circuit and if you have a scenario, there are two voltages, then you can simplify to some extent. You can straight away find out the voltage across the individual element without doing much calculation. Straight away you can use this formula. Okay, we'll see that. What is that? Voltage division is used to express the voltage across one of the several series resistors in terms of voltage across the combination. So what it means is, if you have a series circuit of this fashion, okay, so these are two resistors, and the voltage across these two combination of resistors is total voltage, which is V. Okay, so I can straight away find out what is the voltage across this resistor R1 straight away using this voltage. So how to solve that? So for this expression, if you see, voltage across R2 is found by applying KVL. Simply you apply KVL. So what it is? V is equals to V1 plus V2. Okay. V1 is again I into R1. V2 is again I into R2. Okay. So if you take I common, I into R1 plus R2. So what will be the current I? I is equals to total voltage divided by sum of resistors R1 plus R2. Okay, so this is the total current I. Okay, now I want to find out V2. What will be that? V2 is equals to I into R2, right? I you are getting from this expression, and if you substitute here, that will be V by R1 plus R2. This R2 is again as it is. Okay, so what it means? V2 is equals to R2 into total voltage divided by R1 plus R2. Okay, so what it means is, if you want to find out in a series circuit, if you want to find out voltage across one particular element, when number of elements are connected in series, okay, simply multiply that resistance of that particular element into total voltage. That means the combination of all the voltages, that is V, right? R2 into V divided by n resistors which are connected in series. Here there are 2, that is R1 plus R2. So R2 into V divided by R1 plus R2. That will be the voltage V2. Okay. Similarly, what will be the voltage V1? Total voltage into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Right. So simply you have to multiply that corresponding resistor where you want to find out the voltage with the total voltage divided by n number of resistors which are present in series. Here it is R1 plus R2. So this is how you have to find out. You can find the voltage straight away if there are 2 resistors in series. So if it's a general network consisting of n resistors, let's say. So what will be that? Equivalent formula. Okay. Instead of R1, you have n resistors, R1, R2, R3, R3, so on up to Rn. Okay. So if you want to find out one specific voltage, Vk is equals to Rk into total voltage divided by sum of all the resistors, R1, R2, R3, so on up to Rn. Okay. I hope this is clear with you. So let's see one example. Use voltage division. Use voltage division to determine Vx in the circuit shown below. Okay.
2.
So 2 volts.
Sir, 2 volt.
2 volt.
2
volt.
volt.
2 volt, sir.
So how you
Sir.
told? This 10 and 10 in parallel, so that will become how much?
5.
5.
5.
And you have 3, 5 and 2. Okay, so what is the formula you will apply to find out Vx? Total voltage into corresponding resistor. So that means 10 into 2 divided by 2 plus 3 plus 5. Okay. So 10 into 2 divided by 10. So something like 2 you will get. So let's see. Okay. So the parallel combination of these two 10 ohms in parallel is 5 ohms. And you have 3 and 2 in series. So okay, so this is the circuit you will get. So if I want to find out voltage across this fellow, simply multiply the total voltage with the corresponding resistor 2 ohms divided by sum of all the resistors. Okay, so you are getting 2 volts. So what will be the voltage across the 5 ohms resistor? What will be the voltage across 5 ohms
5
resistor?
volt. 5 volt.
5 volt.
5 volt.
Okay. Right. So you may be understanding this. Now if you cross check this, the voltage across the higher resistor will have higher value. That means 5 volts will have, if you see these two are 5, these two are 5, that means this voltage will be divided equally across this combination and this combination. So it will be 5 volts if you want to cross check. Okay. So if there is a circuit of this format, you can simplify using the resistance combinations, and then you can apply voltage division rule to straight away find out your voltage required. Okay. So that will reduce your time, but you should have a good practice in doing so. Okay. So what will happen if current division rule? Okay. Voltage division rule you have seen straight away. Simply multiply that resistor value with the total combination of voltage divided by n number of resistors which are connected in series. That will give you the voltage across that particular resistor. What will happen if you have a current division rule? The dual of voltage division is actually a current division. In the parallel resistor circuit shown below, the current flowing through R2 is. So you consider this kind of circuit. The question is find out what is the current flowing through R2 and R1. Straight away how you have to find out. Okay. What will be the current I2? V divided by R2. Okay. So V is again I into R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay. So you are reducing the combination of these two resistors. These two are in parallel, R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. That will be your net resistance. Okay. And I will remain as it is from this, and R2 remains as it is from this. Okay. Parallel combination of these two resistors, simply I have written in this format. If you cancel R2 from numerator and denominator, then you will get I2 is equals to I into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So what it means is the current flowing through one particular branch is equals to total current into opposite resistance divided by sum of resistance. Okay. If you see current I2, I want to find out I2. I2 is equals to total current into opposite resistance. That means I am finding I2. So opposite resistance is R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So that will give you straight away current I2 if you have only two resistors in parallel. Right. Similarly, what will be I1? Total current into opposite resistance for to calculate I1 is R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Okay. The same expression is written in this format. Okay. It's actually this expression which is getting converted into this simple format. Okay. Right. So you can straight away find out the current flowing through individual branches if there are two resistors in parallel by using these two basic formulas. Okay. Let's see if you have n resistors in parallel. That means R1, R2, R3, so on up to Rn. And I have asked you to find out what is the current flowing through a particular resistor. Let's say kth resistor Rk is there. Okay, so how to do that? Ik is equals to total current into 1 by Rk divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, so on up to Rn. Okay. So if you have n resistors connected in parallel only, then you can straight away use this formula to find out one current flowing through one particular resistor. Okay. So anyway, if there are more resistors, you have to use this formula. If there are two resistors only, then you are confident you can use this formula straight away. I1 and I2. Okay. I hope I am clear with that. Okay. You have any doubt in that?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Nothing. Okay. Fine. So next, try to solve this. So what they are asking? Use I think something not seen to me. Okay. Okay. So they are asking us to find out the resistance. Use resistance combination method. You can use any method in the exam. Okay. If I ask in specific resistance combination, then you have to use that, or otherwise you can apply any method, KCL or KVL or series parallel combination, whatever it may be, whichever is convenient to you. You can use that. But you have to find out what I am asking. Okay. So use resistance combination method and current division to find I1, I2 and V3. So they are asking us to find out I1, I2 and V3 in this circuit. Okay. So you can reduce the complexity of the circuit by using series and resistance parallel combination. But you remember I1 is the current flowing in this path. I2 is the current flowing through this 2 ohms. Okay. If you reduce the complexity to a very low small circuit, then again you have to come back to find out what is the current flowing through this 2 ohms resistor. Okay. And what is the voltage across this 20 ohms. Okay. So try to solve this. Let's see how you will do. You are trying to do this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, V3 is 0.33.
0.33. Okay, let's see.
I1
Sir,
2.43
and
amperes.
V3 2.5.
Okay, we'll see. So, how you have approached? Anyone can say? So, first thing,
Combining 40 and 20, 60
okay,
ohm.
okay,
Then 240 is parallel with 60 ohm. Then that will be 48 ohm.
okay,
Then 48 ohm and 2 ohm are in series.
series,
Then 50 ohm.
okay,
Then again 50 ohm in parallel. Then 25 ohm.
okay,
Then I use KVL across outer circuit.
KVL,
Yes, sir.
KV.
Minus 120.
Okay, there I think you have done wrong. KVL means voltage. Here 120 milliamperes is there. Okay,
KCL.
okay, KCL. Okay,
Then
Then you can apply KCL and find out the current flowing through the 25 ohms, and then again you have to come back to find out. If you find out what is the current flowing through the 25 ohms, that is equal to your I1. First point.
yes,
So once you know I1, then you have 50 and 50 in parallel, then you can use current division rule to find out the current in the extreme left 50 ohms. Okay, so that will be equal to your I2. Okay, after that maybe you have to again come back to 240 ohms and 48 ohms for 60 ohms, and then you have to solve. Anyway, let's see that. Okay,
Sir, I1 0.1, sir.
okay,
I2 0.05. V3 0.033.
0.033. Anyway, okay, let's see that. Okay. Okay, so how I have approached it is similar to what one of your friends have told. Okay, so maybe 40 and 60 you have to, 40 and 20 you have to have series combination, so it will be 60 in parallel with 240. So that means R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. If you do that, you are going to get 48 ohms. So that is this 48, and you have 2 ohms in series, so that net will be equal to 50. So now I am straight away applying. I have 3 branches. One is 125, one is 50, and another one is 50. I am straight away applying what is the find out what I want to find out current I2. So what is the recent formula says? I2 is equals to total current into inverse of the corresponding resistor where you want to find out current. So here I am going to find out current in this 50 ohms, which is a combination of 2 and 48. So 1 by 50 divided by 1 by 50 plus 1 by 50 plus 1 by 125. That will give me I2 straight away. There is nothing wrong if you still reduce your circuit and again come back. Okay, so you can approach that method also, you can approach this method also. Okay, so there is nothing wrong, but here I have followed this method. Okay, straight away I tried to find out current I2. Okay, so total current into the combination of this entire resistor, which was observed to be 0.4166. So if you multiply these two, you get I2 is equals to 50 milliamperes. Okay, so I2 here, which is flowing through this series combination of 2 and 48, is 50 milliamperes. Okay, what will be I1? If you observe in other way, these similarly you can find out what is the current flowing through this 50 ohms also. Same formula you apply. Okay, this 50 ohms, that means the middle branch 50 ohms you can find out, and you will understand that will also be same equal to 50 milliamperes. Okay, if you think in the other way, this is 50 ohms and this is also 50 ohms, so current should be divided equally between the two resistors. Since they are connected across the same pair of nodes, current division will be equal. So when I observe I2 to be 50, this 50 ohms will also carry the same amount of current. So that's why I have straight away written, assuming that this will be 50, this one is 50 ohms carrying a current of 50 milliamperes. This one is also 50 ohms carrying a current of 50 milliamperes. So the net current I1 will be 100 milliamperes. Okay, I have straight away written here. If you solve also, you will observe that the current flowing through the middle branch 50 ohms will also be equal to 50 milliamperes. Then you can add up these two, applying KCL. Then you will understand I1 will also be equals to 100 milliamperes. Is it clear? So I1 you have found out to be 100 milliamperes, and I2 you found out to be 50 milliamperes. Okay. Now you are left with finding voltage V3, which is existing across the 20 ohms resistor. Okay. So how to find that? I am trying to find out current flowing through this branch. Okay. This 40 and 20, that is 60 ohms combination. What will be that? I know current I2. So total current into inverse of that particular resistor. So 1 by 60 divided by 1 by 240 plus 1 by 60. Okay. If you want, you can straight away follow this, or otherwise you can use this combination and find out the current. So if you follow this method, you will observe that, or you can apply KCL assuming some voltage and then find out that voltage, and then find that voltage divided by this resistor will also give you the current in the different branches. You can apply any method, but this is the simplest thing for now. Okay, so if you do that, total current into inverse of 60 ohms divided by sum of inverses of individual resistors, these two, because this is the combination current. This current is dividing into these two parts, so total current will be, you have to consider at this instant, that is I2. So I2 into 1 by 60 divided by 1 by 240 plus 1 by 60. So that will give you I2 value. Okay, that will give you the combination of resistance. So I2 into 0.8. This one will be 0.8. So 40 milliamperes is the current flowing through this series combination of 40 ohms and 20 ohms. Clear? Consider this as I3, let's say. So I3, which is the combination, which is the current flowing through the series combination of 20 ohms and 40 ohms, is observed to be 40 milliamperes. So simply multiply that current with the voltage V3. Okay. That current with the resistor 20 ohms to find out the voltage V3. Okay. So V3 is equals to I into R. I is 40 milli and resistance is 20 ohms. So the total value is 0.8 volts. Clear? So you have found out I1, I2 as well as V3, which they have asked for. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you got the timetable, na? Updated timetable yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So no, next class is also mine, FES course only. Okay. So I will take that. I will give you break of 15 minutes. Then we'll discuss again regarding the nodal and mesh analysis. Okay. So now the time is maybe 11:15. So we'll start at 11:25. Okay. So 10 minutes break. So 11:25 we will start and try to discuss regarding nodal and mesh analysis in the next hour.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So please join me at 11:25. Okay. Okay. Fine.